Countries need to ask for their gold and other money back. If you withdraw, what does it mean to withdraw from the dollar order? The first thing you want to do is, if you just say we're not going to pay our debts, the United States is going to say, well, you have all of your gold you save it in New York and London and Paris, and you have your foreign exchange reserves in the IMF. Here in Washington, the countries have to prepare for going it alone. You ask for your gold back. You want your gold and your other money back. You say, we're withdrawing from the IMF. When we joined, we had to give gold and foreign currency. Now we want this back. We're quitting our membership. Don't leave any of your financial assets where they can be grabbed in the United States or Europe, as the US and Europe grabbed Russian foreign exchange. Because if there's a war, an economic war or an ideological war, that's what the United States is going to do. Just before you stop paying, you say, first of all, we need to get our gold and our money back. America will then say, well, we're not going to give you your money back. Remember, Germany asked for its gold back a few years ago. And the United States said, "Oh, you don't need it back. We're keeping it safe. Don't worry." And Germany said, "Well, got to send a little back." So the United States has been sending Germany's gold back by little by little by little. I think the global majority countries say, we want the gold now back. You want to withdraw your funds first. And dispose of the excess. You want to prevent their seizure. And you also want to make sure that there's an agreement from China, Russia, and other countries that have the resources that they will support this action, not only economically, but militarily. And you realize that the major creditors of the global South countries are private institutions, banks, vulture funds, investment funds like BlackRock and PIMCO. So the effect of these institutions they're going to all get very upset. What can you do to prevent this? Well, basically, the first step is going to be you withdraw your gold held in the Western central banks, especially New York, London, and Paris, and with the IMF. Now, you'll then have to decide, where are you going to keep this gold? Now, you don't want to keep it where the Americans can send in the Marines and simply grab it like they did in Libya. So you're going to have to find some safer country that's going to be immune from American attack. Remember, Libya, as I mentioned, tried to create its Pan-African gold-based currency, and the Obama administration simply went in and stole it. So the lesson is that this gold has to be kept in a country or site or group of countries that are safe from U.S. attack. Now, that probably means China or Russia, possibly Singapore. I can't think of any other safe alternative. So that for the time being, the African countries say, well, we know that our money is not safe in France. The Bank of France that's held us in the Francophone currency area holds our gold and our currency. If we bring it back to our countries, the Americans are going to bring ISIS and the terrorist groups, America's Foreign Legion, in and try to grab it from our banks like they did Libya. We've got to have our own safe place, and that means probably African and Latin American and much Asian gold will be kept safe in Russia or China, can prevent Americans from trying to rob the central bank, the Asian Fort Knox, as it were, from anything. You've really got to protect your gold and finance militarily. This is not simply a financial discussion by itself. You have to recognize the military dimension, because you have to look at the entire system. And I can't think of any alternative when you remember what the United States did to Libya and Venezuela. Now, second, the BRICS holdings of the U.S. stocks and bonds and tangible investments have to be sold if the government has it. But of course, most Latin American, most global South, their holdings of stocks and bonds and tangible investments are by your oligarchy. It's your 1% that have held all of these assets that the United States can grab. Well, isn't that too bad? You don't have anything to lose if your wealthy oligarchy has already moved its wealth out of Argentina, out of Brazil, out of Chile, out of Latin America to the United States. Then it's already lost to your economy. Your oligarchy has used its wealth to finance American and European economic growth, not the economic growth of their own countries. So the United States says, well, in compensation for the fact that you're not paying your dollar debts to the U.S. official institutions and to the dollar holders, we're confiscating the savings and investments of your wealthy 1%. I think the global majority can say, thank you, good luck. You're welcome to it. That's a wonderful way of settling the debt problem. You get to keep all the money that our domestic oligarchy that you supported. Your client oligarchies have moved out of our countries. Yes, take their money. That'll be compensation for our canceling the official debts that our countries owe and corporations owe to you. We're taking over. We're now nationalizing what the oligarchy has been taking from us with American support, because it's the Americans that have overthrown any country that is trying to prevent a domestic client oligarchy from developing. So that's a very interesting balance that will be done. You have to expect the United States to have this quid pro quo. Let them do it. Well, these holdings of the new global majority have to be explicit. They have to say, here is what we have. We have a balance sheet. And of course, you have to say, here is our solvency, is this government, these assets that the government holds. Of course, you have to report them. There's really nowhere to hide them anyway, because one way or another, U.S. spies and the telephone, the access to the internet, the spies will find out where they are. Let them know. Yes, here's what we have. Here's where we are. We're keeping them in a safe place. Do you really want World War now with China, Russia, Iran, and our military protectors? You'll be very explicit as to what you're trying to do. And being explicit is you have to let the whole rest of the world know that you're keeping this for your own development, and that's your basic principle. And that's why you'll be creating your own international court to counter the International Criminal Court that the United States controls, again, by corruption and bribery of the judges. You may need a new United Nations free of the U.S. Veto power. It'll be the United Nations without the terrorist economies, without the United States and Israel and Germany for their terrorist behavior against Palestine and their terrorist behavior toward the whole rest of the world in trying to impose the U.S. unipolar world order. European politicians, and especially the European Union Commission, are totally in the U.S. pocket. Europe joined the United States in confiscating Russia's foreign reserves. All this is illegal under international law, but the U.S. does it anyway. The United States we're immune from international law. The purpose in creating your own court is to say, we're not going to let countries that are immune from international law destroy our economies. We are sanctioning the United States. And if the United States says we won't trade with any country that is repudiated its dollar debts, you can say, fine, don't trade with us. We'll trade with each other. If you don't trade with us, where are you going to get your raw materials? Where are you going to get all of the industrial products that you've done? The United States and Europe have deindustrialized themselves. They've shifted the whole center of production and raw materials, and they've become materially dependency on Asia, Latin America, and Africa. So if the United States, well, says we're going to isolate you, say that's just exactly what we want. Thank you. You go your way, we're going to go our way. We have the industry, we have the labor force, we have the raw materials, we have the technology and the healthcare. We don't need you. You'll sanction us. We're going to trade and invest with each other, not with you anymore. You can have your Western civilization and let it go wherever it's going, and it looks like it's going downhill. And we're having our civilization that is breaking free of the West. We're going uphill. You go your way, we're going upwards. That's basically what they're doing. But to do that, they need their own set of institutions, just like the United States created international institutions to impose its neoliberal philosophy of privatization. Other countries need their institutions as sort of their central committee allocating their resources, their financing, their credit, their overall worldwide economic planning, because all of this has to be planned as an overall system, and it requires a very specific strategy, and that's what we're trying to talk about today. The war in Ukraine has enabled the United States to defeat Europe economically, and also to strip away all of Europe's military arms supplies. Europe can't do anything militarily. It doesn't have any arms. It's given them all to Ukraine to fight Russia. And so it's voluntarily, without Russian gas, and less voluntarily, it's imposed economic depression on itself and deindustrialization. Instead of being competitive with the United States, Europe has let itself become a neo-colonial dependency. The last 3 years has seen the United States win its war against Europe without having to drop a bomb. It's just stripped Europe of all of its military ability to be independent. It's prevented Europe from having the gas and oil and energy that it needs and fertilizer to develop. Europe is now falling into a depression and utter dependency on the United States for liquefied natural gas, for just about everything that it needs. So it really, you're only faced with a problem in the United States. At some point in the future, Europe may decide to join the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and say, well, we've won our own independence from the United States, but that's going to be maybe a half century off because Europe is so intellectually backward. So basically, NATO Europe should be seen as a dead zone, a passive arm of U.S. diplomacy, and the United States has nothing to offer. That is why President Xi keeps trying to talk to the U.S. Diplomats in a logical, reasonable way. He said, "Why don't we have win-win? Everybody gains." And the United States says, "But what can you win from us? We have nothing to offer you. All we can do is take. We've deindustrialized ourselves. We've indebted our economy. We have nothing to offer. Therefore, because we've destroyed our own economy and the economy of our European satellites, we only have our ability to go to war with you and insist that you give all of your wealth to support us because your support of us, your payment of Global South payment of debts to us, your trade patterns, trading with us are the only thing that is keeping us afloat. You have to realize that you're in the power position, not the United States, and certainly not Europe. Well, they can buy gold, certainly, and other raw materials. That's a good question. What are you going to do with your dollars? You don't want to hold the dollars because the United States can grab everything in dollars. You don't want to simply buy Chinese currency because China can create its own currency. You need to turn these Western currencies into something tangible. Gold is probably here's a metal along with silver that's been used for the last 4,000 or 5,000 years that everybody can agree upon as the monetary base. You buy gold, silver, maybe platinum, and the other very key raw materials is the base. You want to not look at wealth as financial in character in the form of just debt claims. You want it to be real, tangible goods that have a role in the means of production or that are recognized savings. So for the time being, gold is what to buy. Platinum, silver mainly. Silver is very useful electronically. It's a better conductor than copper. You could buy copper also, basically all moving it into safe havens. You can also negotiate some payment to deprivatize and nationalize U.S. and European-owned companies in your countries. You can say, okay, we're going to take our gold for ourselves. We're going to turn some of the Treasury bond, U.S. Treasury bonds and other investments that the government has into gold, but for the securities that you have, we're going to use these securities essentially to buy out your foreign investments in our countries. We're nationalizing your investments. We're making you the offer now. Either you can take the money that we've held in the North, and we'll use these dollars to take over your U.S. and European ownership of our electric companies, our public utilities, our water systems, our land, our mines, and our oil wells, our natural resource wealth. We're essentially freeing ourselves from your foreign ownership. So we're not only canceling our dollar debts, we're taking control of our own national patrimony from your countries, but we have a little bit of money to pay you from the money that we've been able to save in the country, despite your neoliberal plans. We'll use these dollar and European investments, financial investments that we have as payments for the nationalization of basic infrastructure, foreign investment. And we can set up a mutual court to discuss who gets what. Certainly, you can negotiate with us, and we can all decide, how to. We realize that you're going to claim that we're taking more from you than you're getting, but on the other hand, what is yours is what you've taken from us to begin with. So we're only going back to the status quo before this awful post-1945 and even worse post-1980 world development, where you've been grabbing all of our resources. Your grabbing is at an end. This is the equivalent of Haiti freeing the slaves. We're freeing our own enslaved economy, economically and financially enslaved economy from your foreign ownership. We're calling it quits. You go your way, we're going ours. We can have a court. You can decide what you want to do with what you've grabbed from our financial resources. That's why, and they may grab the gold instead of giving it to you. And you can say, well, if you grab the gold, just like Russia says, if you really are going to keep our $300 billion, then we're going to just take control of all of your foreign investments, European investments in Europe. You keep the 300 million of our reserves. We're taking all of your investments in our countries. This is the perfect model for the global majority to say, you've been robbing us, we're taking it back. That's our rule, international law. Those are our rules, not your rules-based order.